the dark side of the porn industry?
So I have spoken to people that have been in the porn industry before, and one thing that they pointed to me, which I just think that if people
you got
know
scammer
this, I don't see how
friends?
any person in good conscience could
Okay.
consume porn, is how high the suicide rates are for women in the industry.
Yeah.
Shit.
And how drugged a lot of these women are to give themselves the confidence to be able to do what they are doing.
Yeah.
And how drugged they are after they do these scenes to be able to try to numb the pain of realizing what they have just done or what they have contributed to. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yes.
You chose to be a porn star, bro. Now, if you was forced, I understand. But if you chose to be a porn star, bro, it's just like every other life decision. You gotta live with it, bro. What are you doing? You chose to be in this movie. Now, my friend Bill talking about your titties. My other friend Will is talking about your ass. And then my friend Jay is talking about your pussy. It is your fault, my boy. Why are you chose to be a porn star? What do I have to tell you?
So in 20...
But like, you know, the drug shit and everything. I feel some bit. I can't speak, or whatever.
2018, there was like back-to-back-to-back suicides. I mean, it was every month. I think it was like 5 or 6 months in a row somebody was dying. I have probably 15 friends that have died to either suicide or drug overdose. I just lost somebody that I was very close to last year. There's a very high death rate in the porn industry. And as far as drugs, I mean, I was one of those drug addicts. I had left the industry at one point at my 3.5-year mark because I was withdrawing from heroin.
Wow.
And that's when I ended up meeting a pimp, and he got me back into the industry for another 3.
So talk about when you became a drug addict. So you're in the industry.
Wait, hold on. She said she met a pimp and he got her back into the industry.
For another 3.
Wow.
And that's when I ended up meeting a pimp, and he got me back into the industry for another 3.
So talk about when you became...
Now, I know I'm pausing a lot for the first fucking minute. I got a question, like, is she being forced or is this willingly, my nigga? Because if this is willingly, this is all your fault. All right, bro, like...
Became a drug addict. So you're in the industry for 3 years. You left because of your addiction. When was the first time that you did heroin, and what gave you that impulse?
Okay, so, well, heroin, I mean, there were other drugs that led up to that. So I was on set. I was new in the entertainment or in the adult industry. And I'm 105 pounds, 5'1". I'm not overweight. But a director tells me, you're fat, you need to lose weight. Damn. And in high school, although I'd never been a pot smoker, I did try coke a few times. And so I knew that it would make me not eat.
My nigga, you tried coke?
So I asked one of the models, like, hey, I mean, apparently I'm fat and I need to lose weight. Like, is there, do you have access to, any cocaine? And she was like, whoa. Very suspicious as to why I was asking her. I'm like, no, I really do just want to buy cocaine. And so she ended up getting me some. And then from there, I just kind of got hooked, and I started using it every day. And then I started dating a guy that introduced me to the Norcos, which are like Vicodin. They're for pain medication. From there, it went to Oxycontins. And then from Oxycontin, there was a girl that I was buying Oxycontins from that said, have you ever chased the dragon? And I'm like, what does that mean? And I thought she was talking about something in porn. And she's like, come over and I'll show you. So I hung out with her, and she pulled out this piece of foil, put a piece of black tar with it was like a plastic, where you put your tampons in?
Yeah.
It was like a plastic from that.
Applicator.
An applicator, thank you. And she just started smoking heroin in front of me, and she's like, it's better than Oxy. So I tried it and used that for many months before I decided that, you know what, I can't take this anymore. I had called my grandma and told her, hey, if you don't come get me, I honestly think I'm going to commit suicide because I can't take this life anymore.
Wow. So you became a heroin abuser. Started with Oxycontin, cocaine, and then it leads to needing something stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, were you taking these drugs before scenes, after scenes, between scenes?
I lived on drugs because what happens when you become addicted is your body goes through intense withdrawals. So if you don't feed it what it needs, you're going to lose control of your bowels, your legs, everything's going to hurt. You're going to be in intense pain, far worse than the flu. You just feel awful. So I mean, I was on them every day. When I was down to like my last 10 to 15 pills, I'm like, I need to call the dealer because if they don't have them, I need to figure it out. Like, I mean, it was a vicious cycle of like, I'd get paid from porn, but then I'd have to go and chase the drug dealer. Like my net worth was said to be like, I don't know, $3.4 million by the time I left the business. I left that industry with my last paycheck, $1,500. That was it.
You're making money and then you're spending the money to get drugs.
Right on drugs.
Wow. And I only know one person.
Why can't we talk about men depression? Well, Aqua, let's keep it a buck real quick. I need to get my chat on the screen so y'all can like see this shit. I'm gonna work on that next year. But male depression. Shit, I don't know, bro. Talking about, I think everybody felt sad before though. You feel me? But you know, the thing is, my view on depression is I think that depression is the basically your mental or your body telling you that, my nigga, you're doing something wrong. You do not want to be in this life. Like, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. You need to change something. I think that's what depression truly lingers down to. I know, like, you know, bro, you know how it is now, how niggas, everybody depressed or some shit. But I think that depression is like your natural instinct that you are living the wrong life, or that you are like doing, like you're like you're, it's something that you know you shouldn't be doing, or it's some way that you know you shouldn't be. Cause I think that's how I felt. If y'all really know about this channel, the first, like, one of the first videos I ever made, how I lost over 100 pounds. I was like 300 something pounds. I would say that I felt depressed. You feel me? But the way that I took depression is as my, like, I felt sad. I ain't want to do shit. Felt sad. Play video games all day. Eat shit. And not work out. Not go to the gym. Not none of that. Not play no sports. No football. No nothing. But, you know, the way that I felt like that the depression was it was my body's natural instinct, my mind's natural instinct to change, to do something different, to make yourself feel happier, to make yourself feel better. That's what I think it is. I think it's your body's, this is just me, I think it's your body's natural instinct to help you, to help you get better, to be the best version of you. And usually when people are feeling depressed, everything can be solved with an upgrade. Sometimes. For some people. I wouldn't say for all cases, but for some. You know, it can be solved with an upgrade. Some people say they just feel depressed because they don't have no money. You put $1 million in their pocket, they feel better now. All of a sudden, you feel me, they feel better. You put $1 million in their pocket, they feel better. But you know what? It is what it is, though.
And personally, that's ever been addicted to heroin, what I've known from way back, from middle school. And I remember seeing her as she got clean. And
oh, my bad, I didn't even really answer your question. We talking about male depression. Men depression, like, bro, you know, they don't expect us to be no bitch. Like, they don't expect us to be like crying about no shit that's going on in life, because it's life. Life is life. You don't always get what you want. Life is never perfect. Life can't be perfect. Literally, like, you know, we all know life cannot be perfect. It won't be perfect.
When she described to me in detail what the withdrawals were like to get off of heroin, she just said it was like dying.
Yeah.
That is
absolutely.
Just, it's like dying. Every piece of your body is just, you know, she was, you know, in the hospital, and she said you can't even describe that sort of pain.
It's awful.
And yet you were willing to go through that pain. You call your grandmother and you say, come get me. And did she come get you?
She did. She drove up to Los Angeles, moved me in with her.
Oh! And she in LA. LA is the most top on God, chat. Even, I'm gonna say, even when I make it big on YouTube, even when I make it big with this shit, I'm not moving to LA. I'll probably go to LA to collab with some people or something. I'm not ever living in LA. LA is the most worst, demonic, terrible place to be in, bro. Look at Aiden Ross. Look at Aiden Ross before he moved to LA and look at him now. Think about it, chat. Like, LA is so bad. It's not a good place at all to be in. It's just full of degeneracy. You know, as people like to say, degeneracy. It's just not, LA is just not a good place, bro. At all. Like, if you watching this YouTube video, you make it big, any way, shape, or form you got, and you move to LA, you live in LA, do not live in LA, bro. It's cool to go there. Cool to take a trip, go see LA, blah, blah, blah. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Do not stay and live in LA. It is not a good place. Like, it really is not. Like, really look into it, bro. It's really not a good place, bro. Look at the big people that you know that made it, that lived in LA right now. Like, look at the way that their life goes, transforms, the things that go wrong. Look at, like, LA is just not a good place, bro. At all.
Into her home in San Diego. And, I mean, I did get help from a doctor. I went to a doctor, got on what was called Suboxone to kind of help alleviate the withdrawal a little bit, but it was still pretty bad.
Okay. Why didn't you call your mother or your father?
You know what? I, at that time, had a very, very hindered relationship with my mom. She and I have a great relationship now, like, but she was the cause of a lot of the voids that I had in life. You know?
Okay, so your grandmother comes to the rescue. And how long did you spend with her?
I was with her for maybe 3 to 5 months before I met a guy that I started dating. He was in a motorcycle gang. I had moved in with him. He got stabbed to death in front of me. Dang. And then from there, I had nowhere to live. And the pimp, which was his friend, comes and kind of is like, oh, well, I'll put you in a hotel for a few days. And he's giving me meth. And, you know, because at this point I started using crystal meth. And
did you get clean while you were with your grandmother?
I did.
Sort of.
Yeah, but it was a very short stint of being clean. Like, it didn't last long, obviously.
So you fell right back in. You watch your ex-boyfriend get stabbed to death. His friend, he's the pimp, says, hey, I'll take care of you. You need some more place to stay. And now he's supplying you with drugs, methamphetamine.
Yes.
Totally different drug from heroin.
Totally different, yeah. This one gets you wired. So I start hearing voices. So he ends up taking me to a mental institution. I get clean there for a few days. And then he brings me to his apartment. He was actually a believer, a backslidden believer. So he introduces me to the Bible and takes me and gets me baptized.
This is the same person that gave you the meth. And he is a pimp.
Yes.
But he's also a believer. And after you go into a mental institution, he says, actually, by the way, I forgot to mention that aside from being a pimp and aside from supplying you with drugs, I also am a believer.
Yeah, because he was a meth addict at one point and found God, and that's how God healed him. But then he ended up going into this line of work, if you want to call it that.
What the freak is happening in this story, bro? So, bro, she gets off drugs a little bit. Goes, like, boyfriend dies. What? Boyfriend died. Boyfriend's friend gets her, puts her in a hotel, then puts her into the mental institution, and then he, like, fucking takes her out of the mental institution, gives her fucking meth or whatever, crystal, I don't know, bro, I don't know what, giving her something, bro, and then he takes her to church. What is happening, bro? And then he says, yo, come meet God, bro. Here, take my Bible. Where my Bible at? I don't know where my Bible is right now, but takes his Bible and says, here you go, buddy. Like, yo, what is happening, bro? What is this?
Not sure how God healed him, but he's also supplying
you're right.
methamphetamine. He sounds like a conflicted Christian.
Very much so.
Which
Very
is,
much
you know, that's not to make fun of him. It's just to point to the fact
it's true.
You know, he clearly was still struggling himself. But
so after I get
he tells you about Christ.
So after I get clean and I kind of have like just almost like a new attitude because I'm reading the Bible every day, but I don't really understand it. He starts to explain to me that, you know, Jesus loves prostitutes because of Mary Magdalene, and very twisting.
Bro ain't even telling her right, bro. Who you should, like, when he said that, run, bro. That nigga does not know what he's talking about. He's weird, buddy. He's weird, bro.
Twisting the scriptures, and then from there, he's like, I just think it's time. I think that it's time for you to get back into the porn industry. And, and I'm just like I knew that he was a pimp, but because men were my weakness, and I had grown attracted to him at that point. And I thought oh no, he even gave me a ring, proposed to me, all of this. So I'm thinking
heck?
I thought we were in love. I was very naive. Why would you put me back into, I don't know. I let him take advantage of me. I didn't know. I was vulnerable at that time in my life.
And how old were you at this time?
21.
So young.
Yeah.
So young.
Yep.
All of this has happened. You've seen a lot of life up until this point.
Absolutely.
And now you think you're in love, and he says, Jesus loved prostitutes. And I think it's time for you to go back to the porn industry.
Exactly.
Sounds
And you
very true,
back?
bro.
You went back.
ECO.
I told him, I said,
What does that mean?
Me
What does
thinking
ECO
that
mean? What do
we're
you
in
mean by
love.
that?
Hey, if I go back to the industry, we're not going to last. And he's like, oh yeah, we're going to be together forever. So 3 years later, I had an encounter. I actually had an encounter with God, and I just felt like, you know what, I need to leave this guy. And so he'd been taking all my money for 3 years, but I prepared myself. I stashed money from an overnight escorting gig that I did I think it was in Miami. And he found out about the money that I stashed, took it. I was crazy, called 911, threatened to turn him in, and he gave me the money, and I ended up getting away from him. And that time, it was actually with the help of my mom.
Really? Mm-hmm. So did you call her in a desperate moment?
In a desperate moment, yeah.
And what did you say to her?
I told her, Mom, I need to get away from this guy. I said, he's no good for me. I'm sure you know that. And I really need your help.
Wow. And what did she do?
She showed up. She lived about 15 minutes away, and she was there for me.
Fuck up my whole video, bro.
And so you were able to get that money back from him?
Yes.
Okay.
So that I could get my own apartment and a car at that point. And
it must have been a lot of money.
Yeah.
He was taking all of it.
Well, I mean, he took all my money for 3 years, yeah. So I think I want to say I stashed around $10,000. I got a little $5,000 car from Craigslist and was able to get an apartment. Then I had no money, and I was going to go back to what I knew. So I went and filmed my last porn scene before I had yet another God encounter.
Hey, bro. Hopefully she stays clean. That was a roller coaster of events, as I like to say so myself.
Man, shut your bitch ass up, nigga. Nobody asked you that a bitch ass thing. You better shut the fuck up before I knock your fucking head off your shoulders, old ugly ass bitch.